truly we have something interesting for you. We have tried to capture the last year's achievements of the Tata Group in a 4-minute video. We hope it will do justice to what we have done. Of course, no 4-minute video can do justice to all that we have achieved over the last year. Can we start the video, please?
2025. 25% of the world's population will experience the Tata commitment to improving the quality of life of customers and communities. We, the people of Tata, are on a journey to touch the lives of a quarter of the world's population by 2025. The year gone by has been a momentous one. A year in which we celebrated the 175th birth anniversary of our founder, Jamsetji Tata. With India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi releasing a commemorative coin in his honor, a first-of-its-kind recognition for an Indian entrepreneur. Jamsetji Tata, pioneer of the Indian Industrial Revolution, laid the foundation of Tata Steel and Tata Power. Now in its 100th year, Tata Power, India's largest integrated private power company, is expanding in international markets and new businesses.
Today, we are the only company in the group which is ISO accredited in the risk management.
Tata Steel has transformed its portfolio and has launched its 100th new product in Europe in less than 5 years. In India, the company strengthened its branded product portfolio.
We develop a distribution network just like any FMCG company would do and build brands.
Breakthroughs and milestones have marked the year across the group. Tata Consultancy Services became the second most valuable infotech enterprise in the world, while establishing new frontiers like Ignio, an artificial intelligence-based platform.
Today, the technology is available. The combination of cloud and artificial intelligence, the machine learning capability, today enables you to do this.
Creating new avenues to communicate with machines while making giant leaps to connect people across seas. Tata Communications now carries a fourth of the world's internet traffic. Jaguar Land Rover expanded its international footprint further with new plants in China and Brazil. And partnered with Tata Motors European Technical Centre to establish Europe's largest automotive research centre. In India, Tata Motors launched the classy Zest and the peppy Bolt to rave reviews. Another significant landmark in the year was the launch of Tetley's range of super green teas in the UK. During the year, a host of group companies explored and established new vistas, making deep inroads in the defense and aerospace sector, partnering global players such as Airbus, Boeing, Cobham, and Ruag Aviation. Tata Motors won a landmark land systems order from the Indian Army. In other key clusters of infrastructure, retail, and financial services, the Tata portfolio significantly expanded nationally and internationally. To tap growing opportunities in the Middle East and North Africa, a nodal office was set up in Dubai, and a few other markets were explored. Soaring into the skies, the group rekindled JRD Tata's dream with Vistara and AirAsia India. The Tata Group's growth is the result of a daring spirit and creative ideas. We are combining our innovative spirit with an even deeper customer connect to improve the quality of life of the communities we serve, to go further than we ever have, to cross every hurdle, to go the distance.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Chairman, Cyrus P. Mistry.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be here with you for AGLC 2015 on the 111th birth anniversary of Mr. J.R.D. Tata. Undoubtedly, anybody seeing the previous audiovisual would be proud to be part of the Tata Group. I know I am, and it's because of you. This year, as a theme for AGLC, we have chosen to discuss digital and the impact it will have on our businesses and society. During the earlier part of the day, you have had the opportunity to see some of the areas the group is exploring and investing in to embrace the digital age. The world today, especially with digital transformation, requires us to be strategic and agile. My presentation will cover two broad areas. First, long-term stakeholder value creation, in which we will review our performance from a perspective of all stakeholders, during which I will also share with you a few thoughts on how we can build sustainable, profitable businesses. The second part of my presentation will be on the changing world, where we will reflect on the importance of developing agility in our businesses. Before I begin, let me remind us of our mission statement: to improve the quality of life of the communities we serve globally through long-term stakeholder value creation based on leadership with trust. During the last AGLC, we had discussed the importance of value creation for all stakeholders. It is essential that all group companies determine the measures appropriate for them and hold themselves accountable for their performance on value creation. I believe sustainable, profitable growth is a key building block for value creation. We need to remind ourselves constantly that our customers today have an even larger canvas from which to choose. You may remember that customer centricity is an area that we identified at the group level to work on. A number of actions have taken place under this initiative. The one I believe that will have the most impact on our companies will be the customer promise. The customer promise ensures that each company will articulate how they will develop customer insights, deliver customer value, and most of all, delight the customer. If we take a look at our customer focus scores, we can see that we've improved. They are, however, far from where they need to be. It is imperative that we continue to provide value to our customers on a daily basis, or else we will lose the very right to exist. The Tata brand, built on a bedrock of strong values, is the guarantee behind our customer promise. Today, we are ranked 65th in the world brand finance, who incidentally have changed their ranking methodology from a year ago. If we use the same methodology, we have moved up 5 places from last year's rankings. Under Mr. Ratan Tata's leadership over the last 20 years, it has been Mr. R. Gopal Krishnan who has been responsible for nurturing the brand. Gopal, we owe you a great deal. You have nurtured the brand for 2 decades. Please stand up and take a bow. For our brand to flourish in a digital age, we need to understand and appropriately leverage digital media. Over the last year, we have seen our corporate Twitter followers grow 4-fold, from 58,000 to 250,000. That makes us India's largest corporate Twitter handle. The Power of 49 campaign showcased the group at its best. Jago Re was conceptualized under TGBL and is a good example of cause-based marketing aligned to the values of the group. With the group center, several companies collaborated to register voters. Traditional, digital, and social media were all leveraged to obtain 1.4 million responses on issues important to women's voters. As a result, a women's manifesto, election manifesto, was published by the Tata Group. Not surprisingly, the Power of 49 has won many prestigious awards. I personally firmly believe that anything is possible with the commitment of our employees. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all 600,000 of you individually. We are humbled by your trust in us. I'm happy to report that 24% of Tata employees are women. We are delighted. We are delighted to have added 25,000 women to our roles during the last year alone. This is a journey where we need to and will cover more ground in the future. I have had the opportunity to see some of our companies leveraging social media internally to improve the level of engagement with their employees. TCS's Know Me platform is a great example of this. Our employees today rightly have higher expectations from us as a corporate house that values them. We need to honestly ask ourselves, as leaders, are we living up to the trust reposed in us by our 600,000 strong family? And what more can we do? We have commenced work on a holistic approach that goes beyond engagement. This reflects an innate belief in employee well-being and fulfillment. We stand committed to the quality of life of our employees. Now to understand how we have performed as a group on select financial parameters. On March 31st, 2015, our group market cap was $134 billion US. We must view this in the context of an unusually buoyant market. With the new government firmly in the seat, and investor expectations have probably run a bit ahead of reality. In the more recent months, the markets have recalibrated, and as a consequence, our market cap today has dropped to approximately $123 billion US. The good news with regard to our financial rankings is that last year we would have been ranked 61st. This year we would be ranked 47th. I have no doubt we will achieve our goal of being 25th by 2025. Further, it makes me happy to say we have 14 companies with a market cap in excess of $1 billion US. No brownie points for guessing the most valuable company. TCS stands at number 1 and is also the most valuable company in India today. At the Tata Group, we don't look at the market cap on a daily basis. It's 3, 5, and 10 years over which we truly evaluate our performance. Titan's sustained excellence over the last 10 years is a cause for celebration. Bhaskar, ably guided by Ishat and Noel and supported by the entire Titan team, deserve our appreciation. I request the entire Titan team and all of you to get up. Now, when it comes to revenue growth, there's been a slowdown in the last 4 years. This is a cause for concern. As I've mentioned earlier, value can only be created by profitable growth. Apart from the natural growth in our respective markets, we would expect organic, non-incremental growth from new geographies, products, services, and the addition of new capacities. Further, many companies would have strategies for non-organic growth as part of their future plans. You will all agree that it is indeed impressive that today, 10 of our group companies have revenues of over $1 billion US. Group margins have fallen over the past few years. We need to work hard to put in place initiatives that bring our margins back to 8%, as they were in the past. Achieving this would imply an additional $3 billion annually to our bottom line. I am personally convinced that this is a challenge we can meet. Last year, the Tata Group invested $10 billion as a group in capital expenditure. It is important we generate adequate returns to service these investments. I believe the ROC is one of the key measures which we could use to reflect the health of our businesses. In 2015, 8 of our group companies' ROC exceeded 15%. We owe the providers of capital an industry-leading rate of return on their investments. Let us now analyze our companies on revenue growth versus margin acceleration over the past 3 years. Here we see 3-year revenue growth rates of our companies. For us to meet our targets, we would need to have a minimum long-term growth of 15% in rupee terms. If you look now at margins, some of our companies have been more successful in increasing their margins over the past 3 years. Of course, highly profitable companies, especially relative to their peers, will find it harder to further improve their margins. Companies that are in the process of turning around their businesses will do better on this dimension. We then combine the last 2 slides to see which companies have increased both margins and revenues over the past 3 years. Given their market-leading positions, it's harder for Titan and TCS to grow margins compared to companies such as Infinity, Tata Sky, TTSL, and others that are today PBT negative. However, we would like to recognize the continuing turnaround efforts the latter companies are also making. Last year, during the Q&A session, somebody asked me about value creation for financial stakeholders. I quickly replied, profitable growth. During the year, I have had an opportunity to reflect. Now I would like to be more specific and say, sustainable profitable growth is the key building block to long-term stakeholder value creation. For building sustainable businesses, may I share some of my thoughts with you. We need to generate unique insights to sharpen offerings for customers now and in the future. We need to diversify profit pools with regards to products, segments, geographies, and currencies. We need to create IPR that results in a competitive advantage. We need to aspire to meet global benchmarks for quality and cost. We need to construct robust risk management processes and develop risk mitigation strategies. We need to ensure financial flexibility to survive downturns and seize opportunities. And finally, we need to embrace sustainability to minimize impact on the environment and future generations. I must say that this list is in no way exhaustive. There are a number of other areas that have a direct relationship to the sustainability of a business. For example, the strength of the brand, the depth and breadth of our dealer and distribution network, and many such others. At the Tata Group, what makes us special is our continued commitment to the communities we serve. We are all very proud of the efforts of our colleagues in this direction. Let's take a quick look at at some of our CSR activities.
मैं टाटा रिलीफ को धन्यवाद कहती हूँ कि जो मुझे सहायता मिली, मेरा थोड़ा बहुत आज भी बढ़ गया इससे.
Growing responsibly is addressing the problems of today for a better tomorrow. And at the Tata Group, we see this as a journey to give and grow. Over the last year, we reached out to over 200,000 distressed people across India and Nepal. Wherever we have gone, our purpose has been to build and nurture the resilience of communities. To oversee these diverse activities, We at Tata have built a cadre of trained project managers, always ready to respond to the call of duty.
I thought this is something I could learn a lot from, and it could really help me help others in the best possible manner.
Volunteering has become a movement at Tata. Tata Engage, our volunteering program, launched in 2014, has already registered over 70,000 volunteers.
One small volunteering act can inspire many more of your colleagues to volunteer. So I would encourage many more people to come forward and volunteer in the future.
Our colleagues dedicate their time to participate in community activities, inspired by the Tata vision to touch the lives of a quarter of the world's population.
As well, so the fact that you guys can come and help us out like this make life better on a day-to-day basis for the children who are using this.
The youth are our future, and the Tata Group is investing significantly to empower them with skills and knowledge. Our companies continue to offer professional training and entrepreneurship opportunities all over the world, while imparting people with education that prepares them for meaningful roles in society.
I loved it.
Our enduring commitment to sustainability finds reflection in the group's sustainability policy adopted recently.
Sustainability must remain at the heart of everything we do. It is our competitive advantage that ensures we remain an employer of choice, partner of choice, and a neighbor of choice.
At Tata, there's a lot more that we do every day, together, by touching lives and inspiring a better tomorrow. In the Tata Group, we give and grow.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you just saw was only a glimpse into our CSR activities. I understand we are one of the top 10 corporate volunteering programs in the world. Let's together target 1 million hours so that we can make a real and huge difference to the world. Now that I've shared with you my thoughts on stakeholder value creation, let's look at our changing world. I will delve into 3 aspects: global volatility, an emerging India, and our digital future. I will start with a quick global overview of the world from a geopolitical, societal, economic, and technological perspective. During the last year, we have witnessed significant geopolitical changes. Russia gets isolated from the rest of the world. Greece creates considerable uncertainty in Europe. In the UK, we witnessed a re-election that surprised us with a strong mandate for the Conservative Party. And more recently, Iran signed a global pact ending years of sanctions. And a new leadership takes charge in India. Each of these will impact our businesses, and we need to be prepared. Let me now move to societal changes. We see a renewed global emphasis on controlling our carbon footprint. There is significant depletion of groundwater tables in many river basins globally. An aging population is increasing healthcare costs in more advanced economies. Intensifying nationalism is leading to a debate on immigration policies. There are many, many more social changes we are witnessing that will have a profound effect on our businesses. I would now like to make a few observations on the economy. Jobless growth and income inequalities continue to be a matter of concern. The slowdown in China has had a major impact on global markets. For example, last year, China exported 90 million tons. The year before, it was only 40 million. To put 90 million tons in context, that is the total production capacity of steelmaking in India today. Currency volatility is altering the relative competitiveness of nations. A clear downturn is taking place in the commodity cycle as coal, oil, iron ore, steel, all are at approximately 10-year lows. We need to ask ourselves, is the commodity supercycle over, or will we see a sharp increase in the not-too-distant future? The high level of economic volatility is now the new norm. I hope our companies are adequately strategizing to manage these risks. Having discussed the geopolitical, societal, and economic landscape, let me finally talk about technology. A look at the future of technology shows us both an exciting and perhaps challenging picture. We will see existing business models being disrupted by the enablement of technology. The economics of robotics and automation has reached a tipping point where the competitiveness of manufacturing is no longer driven by labor costs. In the near future, as we just saw, autonomous and semi-autonomous cars are a reality. Technology will have a fundamental impact on the nature of work and will require a huge amount of continuous reskilling, including for all of us over here and many, many CEOs. I believe no other group has the depth and breadth of talent in the technology space as the Tata Group. We need to harness this strength and to propel ourselves into the future. To reiterate, ladies and gentlemen, the world is a volatile place. The rate of change is only increasing. If we want to win in the future, we in the Tata Group must embrace this change and not look at it as a threat, but as an opportunity. I'd now like to discuss India's place in a changing world. Before I go into this section, on behalf of all of us, I would like to pay my respects to the late President, APJ Abdul Kalam, a great visionary and a patriot who always believed in India's potential. The world is experiencing multi-track growth. The US and UK are normalizing towards 3%. Europe seems to have bottomed out and is now growing at 1.5%. China appears to have slowed down, but is still growing at a healthy 6 to 7%. If one jumps ahead at 2030, based on IMF projections, in purchasing power parity terms, China, US, Japan, and India continue to be the largest economies. The big surprise is Indonesia, which is expected to replace Germany as the 5th largest economy. Fortunately, India is anticipated to be amongst the highest growing global economy. The UN projects India as the most populous country in 2030, with the highest population growth rate amongst the large economies. It is anticipated that Nigeria will replace Brazil as the 5th largest, 5th most populous nation. By 2030, most countries will be experiencing a declining population. Of course, as we know, demographics plays a major role in the development of a country. Urbanization is a major phenomenon growing fastest in India. It brings many opportunities for businesses such as housing, infrastructure, but also many challenges. Some of these challenges, including pollution, congestion, and small empty towns being left behind, will give rise to new business opportunities. Most of these opportunities will come to us through a higher disposable income of a rising middle class. While there are many competing definitions for middle class, the Brookings Institute defines middle class as those with daily household expenditures between 10 and 100 US dollars based on 2005 PPP. Their projection is that India will have the largest middle class in the world by 2030. Even if we discount this big figure by 50%, India will still have the third largest middle class population in the world. Given Tata's unique position in India, we should be ready to exploit this growth. For example, in the automotive industry, this means an almost 3 times increase, with 8 million cars being sold in India by 2030. This would make us the third largest global market in the world. We would also possibly be ranked number 1 in terms of the most congested streets in the world. Air conditioners are the first durable that is bought by the middle class in India. No wonder the market is anticipated to grow more than 10 times by 2030. We have a market leader here in Voltas. Banking credit will see a 4 times expansion. The Indian population with bank accounts will move from 35% to 90%. This would create a huge opportunity to sell financial products such as insurance, mutual funds, housing loans, consumer loans, and many such others. I personally believe that digital technologies will play a key role in the financial services sector moving forward. The middle class in India is not and will not be equivalent to the middle class in the US, where it means a house, a car, a dog, and perhaps even a cat. Of course, we always do say, there is no one India. There is an India at the level of China, another at the level of Indonesia, yet another at the level of sub-Saharan Africa. But the largest India today is currently below sub-Saharan Africa levels as far as income. We need to be acutely aware of this reality of multiple segments within the middle class, and to be ready to take advantage of the opportunities it throws up. While long-term growth projections point to a large India opportunity, as businesses, we must not lose sight of the fact that in absolute dollar terms, the US, China, and Europe are currently adding the largest GDP. This, of course, is due to the large base effect of larger economies. It is clear that growth opportunities exist across the globe. Group companies must interpret these trends and what they mean for their individual strategies. Earlier, you've already seen an excellent presentation by Chandra on what digital and also on digital, and also some of our CEOs articulating their plans for digital within their businesses. I wish to add some of my observations here on our digital future. The Internet of Things is a game changer for industry as remote monitoring and diagnostics is increasingly entering the mainstream. The average person in the world is anticipated to own more than 7 connected devices by 2020. I'm sure most of us in the room today already exceed this figure. The smartphone provides opportunities to leapfrog generations of technologies, alter and even disrupt business models and consumer behavior. For example, in a largely unbanked country like India, the mobile wallet will probably overtake credit and debit cards. Globally, individuals are spending more time online than on traditional media. Younger consumers do not even subscribe to TV or to cable or care to own a TV. And new brands are being built entirely on digital and social media platforms. Yet, while eyeballs have moved, advertising dollars are still lagging behind. We must embrace digital brand building, since markets always change faster than marketing. Now let's take a look at some digital disruptions. The new digital models have the potential to disrupt traditional incumbents such as ourselves. So as we've seen and can see from here, our consumers have already embraced digital, but have we? Having now understood the rapid rate of change that is upon us, it is essential that we build agile businesses. Let me share some of my thoughts on what we need to do to make our businesses more agile. I will first discuss strategic agility. We need to have an open strategy process to sense trends with an ability to develop strategic options. We need to ensure heightened strategic alertness to paradigm changes with a willingness to transform business models. And of course, we will have to create strong balance sheets to be able to respond to opportunities and risks. Second, may I present my ideas on organizational agility. We need to create a sense of urgency to sustain a mindset that seeks to identify new opportunities in the face of discontinuity. We should develop an organizational design that allows resource fluidity through reskilling people and modular processes. We will be required to ensure an organizational culture that allows recruitment and motivation of entrepreneurial people. And importantly, we will have to establish leadership that fosters experimentation and accepts risks in the pursuit of new capabilities and next-generation businesses. Last week, I was at the TBLA Awards and heard an interesting statistic. In 1920, the average age of a business was 67 years. Today, the average age of a business is only 15 years. In the Tata Group, if we are to exist for another 150 years, it is imperative we build agile businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, let us remind ourselves that to achieve Vision 2025, institutionalizing sustainable, profitable growth and building agile businesses will be fundamental to our success. I must thank you all for being here today. It's been a pleasure being here with you this afternoon. Looking forward to the rest of the session and an enjoyable dinner later on. Thank you very much.